Okay, all right, well, welcome today. Okay, welcome. So, I was brought in today and asked to come and share some different insights on how to give kids some practical strategies to get hired for maybe their first job, maybe internship, whatever that is, right? And one of the big really differentiators I always like to talk about when it comes to getting that first job is that a lot of times people are scared because they go out and they try and find that first job, right? And they go knocking on that door and the employer says, "Do you have any experience?" And the person says no. And they get frustrated, right? Because they say, well, how do I get experience if I don't get the job? I don't get the job if I don't have experience. So it's like a dog chasing their tail. And what I always tell people is an interesting distinction. I say that, myself and, most employers don't hire on experience. We hire on proof, okay? And this is a little bit about my background to kind of give you some reference. I own Champion Karate. We've been in business since 2003, 23 years. I also founded Knockout Fitness, which has now been around 10 years. So I've done a lot of hiring over the years and a lot of development, right? And so I can tell you when I reflect on this, and I was wanting to come and add some value to kids today, I said, well, what is it really about? And it's really not about the experience. What we do is we really hire on proof, okay? And for an example, right? Like if you said, hey, when was the last time, have you ever been on time for anything? Raise your hand. Yeah, we've been on time, all right? Have you ever had a pressure situation before? You dealt with pressure, all right? Have you ever had to work with people and teach them something? All right, have you ever had to do hard things? Okay, so the point is that those things, those skills are all what really employers are looking for. The issue is how do you get those weaponized into a name so that people can see the value in that, right? So a little bit about us, to kind of go back to a story. I remember when COVID happened, I was kind of reflecting on this. When COVID happened, it was a tough time for everybody. And I remember that at the time we had about 70 kids who were about ready to do a big graduation for, right? And so typically when you do a martial arts graduation, everybody comes into school and they do what they need to do and they get their belts, certificates and things, right? But like literally weeks before it was about to happen, everyone signed up, the belts ordered, ready to go. We were shut down. Everybody was shut down. And in that moment, we had to ask ourselves, okay, well, what do we do? Right? And we have 5 core values that really guides our decision making at Champion Karate. And one of them is we won't be dictated by current circumstances. We create the circumstance, right? And so in that moment, we had to ask ourselves, okay, are we true to our values? Are we true to our core values? Or are we going to let things slip, right? And so what we did was we actually went and said, okay, instead of having everyone come in here, we're going to go to them. So we got specially designed boxes made, really nice tissue paper. We wrapped the belts in the paper, put the certificate there, got the box, and we went out to people's homes. We divided up into 4 instructors, and we went out. We did 70 one-on-one, socially distanced graduations, and it was amazing. Okay, it was obviously logistically it was really hard, but what that meant for us was it meant that we proved to ourselves really who we were. And in that moment, it's so important, right? And this is one of the skills, this is one of the things that I talk to people about, right? Because these kind of things are what get you hired, right? All right, so again, really interesting. When I look at jobs, there's really, I say, every job really has 3 jobs. Every job has 3 jobs. The first job is the skill, like it's just the work. The first job is the work. The second job, right, is the people, okay? And the third job, the people you have to work with, the third job you have are the problems that are gonna come up. And every job has those. Every job has the work, it's got the people you have to work with, and it's got the problems. Every job has that, right? So there are three, let me advance this here. There are 3, I already blew past this. So, all right, so there are 3 things that we want to look at, right? 3 proofs. The first is a skill proof, okay? And the skill proof basically is when we say, hey, to yourself, like, I can do something useful, right? Like you may not know martial arts, right? But I don't really care if you know martial arts. I want to understand that you can convey to me that you can be useful at something. Okay, that's number one. Number two is the people proof, right? So tell me about how you communicate with people. Tell me how you work with people, right? Tell me how good you are with that. And then tell me about how you grow, right? The problem part. That's what I want. I want to know about, can you take criticism? Can you separate yourself emotionally from how you need to grow? So growth is probably the third part, which is super, super important. Okay? And these are some of the, here we go. Okay. And one of the things I like to talk to people about is not waiting. A lot of times we see students, young students, they wait until they get that first job to start doing these things and to start, being the professional. And I always tell everybody, don't wait, right? Be professional now before you get the job. What does be professional mean, right? It means shake hands, look people in the eye, have great energy. When you say you're gonna do something, do it, follow through, right? So say what you mean and mean what you say. That's really, really huge, right? So if you tell somebody, like, even if you were walking downstairs and just talking to various employers, you're like, oh, this is great. I'm gonna circle around and I'll be back. And if you don't come back, that's what everybody does. So be the standout, actually show back up and be like, hey sir, hey ma'am, I know I was here a couple hours ago and I just want to let you know I'm back again. Wow, that alone, you would stand out, right? So these are things that are so important. That's what employers are looking for, because then for myself, I can see you in my business actually talking to a customer like this. And that's what we want, right? That's what everybody wants. So, all right, make sure. This is a great question to ask employers, right? Like, and I know we're wrapping up, so there's not a lot of time left, but I would say a great skill or a great practice is to go around to different booths and ask them a great question. A great question to me is asking each one, saying, hey, what's one thing that I can develop that'll make me more valuable to you in a month? What's something I can start working on today? And this is the biggest thing that our kids need to realize. They need to realize that everything is at their disposal. We live in a time in human history, we have more information available to us. The cost of information nowadays is literally zero, right? So it doesn't cost anything. All we have to do is be proactive. Our kids need to just be proactive and work that professionalism, right? And then before they actually get hired, then they'll get the job, right? So it's learning how to shake hands, learning how to have the right energy, saying what you mean what you say, right? All these different simple things. And so finally, last thing I'd like to talk about, this is really a great statement. Your career does not start when you get hired. It starts when you decide to get hired. It starts when you decide to get hired. So like everything else in life, it's all about the decision you make in your mind. So that morning you wake up and say, okay, I will get hired. This is what I want to do. That's when your career begins, right? So you have to figure out, research, take the steps necessary to figure out what you need to do, right? To be employable, to be valuable, right? To that person that you want to market yourself to. So nowadays, there's a plethora of ways. Everything, all the AI, this chat, there's 1,000 different ways that the kids can go and research, right, what to do. They just have to take the first step. So as I always encourage everybody, take that first step, and remember that when you start acting and deciding to be hireable, that's when your career begins. So